Hi, I'm Tim Bartz, Internet Sales Manager here at McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas, your source for Ford news update and information, including your scheduling information for this week. And so this video is going to go over some of the scheduling information. So this has to do with people that are out there that have an unscheduled retail order. This is a video they probably want to watch to see, what's the chance of their order getting scheduled for this week, or are there some things that you need to change or conversations you need to have with your dealer. And hopefully this will help you out. And this is scheduling information just for this week for Thursday, February 13th. That's the day these orders will schedule at the different factories. So we're going to dive in and go through this. We are going to pull up the ordering information here first, or some of the key terminology and such. I like to go and start with that because if this is the first time that you've watched this video, it's a good idea to watch this. Now, if you like to stay updated on everything Ford related, don't forget to make sure you're subscribed with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss any videos. Going to make sure I point that out. And hopefully you do like this video, but give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. All right. Let's go into this information here. And so we're talking about those orders that are placed in the order bank. That's where order dealers will place their stock in those retail orders. Retail order is a customer placed order. That is you, the customer, has placed that order, and you plan to take that order when it comes in. A stock order, that is an order placed by a dealer for stock or lot inventory. So if they don't have enough retail orders, they have to place some stock orders so they can fulfill their allocations. We'll get into that in a little bit later. Priority code. That's a priority given to the orders by the dealer. Any retail order, that customer placed order, can be anything from an 03 to 19. The default for the system is a 19. So if you see that on your order, that's not nothing you need to be alarmed about, especially if they put 19 on all their orders. Now, 20 to 80 is a stock order. So because of that, lower the better. For this. So that's why retail orders are always looked at before a stock order is. Now, scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months. So this week, we're talking about those orders are being scheduled on February 13th for those build dates in April for most models. We'll go into the specifics on that in just a second. Production date, that is a date that Ford plans to schedule your order. Those dates can move and fluctuate depending on supply issues. They are scheduling those production dates based on what they know now, but as they get closer, if things change by their suppliers, since it is 2 months in advance, those dates can move. Allocations, that Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. Just because there is an order by a customer in there, they will not automatically get an allocation. A lot of people think, I have my order in there, so the dealer will get an allocation to fulfill my order. That's not how this works. A dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order, but a dealer earns those allocations based on their sales of each model within the region. So if they don't sell one model very well, they'll get a low number of allocations no matter how many orders they get. They can do a special deal like we did on Ranger Raptor, where we took a lot of orders but are not getting that many allocations. And I actually have a reason behind that we'll talk about just in a little bit. Constraints, that's where an option may be in short supply or take longer to build. And that can happen because if the capacity or the orders they've taken are less or more than the capacity, that's the planned production rate of a given motor trim or option. So that's where we sometimes get a constraint. Job 1, 2, sometimes even 3, the production will split into different runs for jobs. And that's based on any changes they might need to make within the model year. They made, like on Explorer, they made a couple necessary changes. So they have a job 3. Balance out, that's the end of production for a particular model, option, maybe even a job run. So we're, balancing out job 2, maybe going to job 3, like on Explorer, that kind of thing. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, we're going to dive in here and talk about the 25 model year Mustang. There's currently 1,095 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up, and they are scheduled this week for the dates the weeks of March 31st to the weeks of April 21st. And then they are doing retail scheduling only this week. So they tend to do that with a lot of models. All right. No other notes in here for the Mustang on that. So, all right, next up is the 25 model year Escape. Currently, the order banks are open up for the 25 model year Escape. There's only 276 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. And I say retail orders, so there'll be some dealer orders, but only 276 retail orders. They are scheduled this week for those build dates in April, the weeks of March 31st through the weeks of April 28th. You could be scheduled anytime in there, and they are doing retail scheduling only for this week. no really constraint list for the Escape listed this week. All right, next up, 25 model year Bronco Sport. There's currently only 210 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for those, and they are scheduled this week for the weeks of 3/31 through the weeks of April 28th. And then this is retail scheduling only for you. And there's a note in here left over from last week that the Big Bend version is with the Black Diamond off-road package is the best availability. They're needing some of those orders. And it does say in here, very limited exhaust availability. And I don't know if this is a carryover from last week or they're really having issues with this. And that is the standard Big Bend wheel, that 17-inch carbonized gray high gloss wheel, and the tire that's standard on the Big Bend, Heritage, and Freewheeling. So the standard tire. So we do see this note also on the Maverick. So Maverick does share the same wheel as the Bronco Sport does. So there could be a supplier issue with the tire from Continental on that. All right, next up, 25 model year Bronco. There's currently only 883 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Bronco. They are scheduled this week for the weeks of March 31st or the weeks of April 28th. But there's a caveat to that. They are looking at retail orders, and it says only. Anyway, it says in here scheduling only for Raptor and Strop and retail orders. So they'll schedule their stock Raptors and Strops orders. Say that real fast, as well as retail orders. So, and maybe you might be in a situation where you have both. You have a Bronco Raptor that is a retail order, but they are going to look at retail orders as well here. No other constraints or lists in there. There shouldn't be any with the Bronco. There are within their capacity on their orders, so should be no issues there with anything that you're looking to order on your Bronco, which is good to hear, right? All right, next up, 25 model year Mach-E. Currently only 189 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up. We're on job 2, I believe, maybe, for the Mach-E. I believe so. They are scheduled for the weeks of March 24th through the weeks of April 28th. So they do have some availability. You know, they had scheduled, I thought, through the 24th, but evidently they had some availability there. So they're going to schedule that week as well. And retail scheduling only for this week. All right. No notes, no other notes on there or any constraints for the Mach-E. Next up is the 25 model year Explorer. Currently 782 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Explorer. They are scheduled this week for the weeks of March 31st through the weeks of April 28th. This is the start of job 3. Job 3 startup here. So they are looking for that. And I think they're looking for retail only for this week as well. So it doesn't really say in here. It says dressing period, retails all markets. So yeah, that'd be retail only. All right, next up, 25 model year Expedition. Currently 1,307 unscheduled retail orders in order bank. The order banks are open up, and they are not scheduled this week. So they are still looking at what orders they have in there and trying to figure that out and giving dealers a little bit of time to get their OTD orders in. All right. And next up, 25 model year Maverick. Currently only 2,621 unscheduled retail orders in order bank. The order banks are open up, and they are scheduled this week for the build weeks production dates, the week of March 31st through April 28th. And they were doing retail scheduling only. And again, just like we did see with the Bronco Sport, the tire is a constraint for the standard on the XL and XLT. So that standard tire, that Continental, that is an issue evidently with supplier, and also the advanced all-wheel drive. So that is also in there too, which you're going to see that on your trimmer and your Lobo versions. All right, that's it. Next up is the 25 model year Ranger. Currently only 494 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up this week, or still open up, I guess, for the 25 model year Ranger. They are scheduled in the weeks of March 31st to the weeks of April 28th. Does say in here scheduling for Raptor and retail orders this week. So they're looking for those first. I think we have one Raptor allocation this month, but should be getting a lot more in the next several months. Very limited to exhaust availability for the 2.7 liter engine, as well as a 17-inch gray painted aluminum wheel that's standard on the Raptor. So those of you out there that have a Raptor order, having that optional wheel is actually could help you this week because very limited lot. And I say that though, but a couple months ago, we actually had our ones that also were under constraint, and they were the ones that got scheduled. So really, yeah, they are going to schedule some with the standard wheel, but they're going to schedule more without the standard wheel, if that makes sense to you. All right. And I do believe that right now, the last couple months, they've been trying to fulfill dealers that didn't get all of their orders and their allocations from 24 model year has been some of the holdup. So we've been asking that why we got 0 allocations last month, only 1 this month. We normally get like 3 or 4 in a month. And they let us know that there were some dealers that didn't get all their allocations due to them in the 24 model year. So they're making sure they fulfill those or at least offer them up to them in the last couple months. So this is the last month of that. So next month we should see it full back open with dealers that are earning their allocations like us. And they have been telling us that we're going to see a bigger number of Ranger Raptors because of our sales on those starting next month. So those that have orders with us, just give us one more month. We'll get them scheduled. So. All right. Next up, 25 model year Super Duty. Currently 5,387 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Super Duty. They are scheduling for the Kentucky truck plant for the weeks of March 10th through February 7th. And Ohio is the same dates, actually, as well there. So you might say, why are the other models going through the 28th? They do this on the Super Duty. They will not schedule all of the dealer's allocations that first month. They actually break it off into several months. So you'll see that with our F-150s. We saw a breakout. They're going to try to schedule half of our F-150 allocations this month or this week, and then the other half probably next week, the week after. Super Duty is the same way. They're going to schedule in different chunks. So a dealer won't use all their allocations this first week. So as you can see by those build dates just covering the first half of what they're planning to schedule for. All right, they are needing some F-250 and 350 XL or XLT orders with the 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel engine or the 6.8 liter gas engine. So they're needing some of those orders. Now, last week we saw that note. It actually also mentioned Lariat, but not this week. So that's why these notes are very specific to just this week. All right. Also, very limited to exhaust availability for the Platinum version. Also, well, actually, all these that I'm going to talk about here. The Platinum version is very limited exhausted. Also, the 18-inch sparkle silver painted cast aluminum wheel at standard on XLT single rear wheel. The lug nut cap that's available on the King Ranch F-250 dually 4x4s with the 10.5, 11.8, and 12.4 axles. Also, the Dana axle rear that's available on the F-350, F-450, and F-600 dualies with the 6.7 diesel engine. And then the XL version with the flow-through console with the 400-watt outlet in the rear, Super Cab and Crew Cab versions only. And then also the 360-degree camera. Oh, no, wait. 360-degree dual beacon LED warning lights, the amber and amber white. So some of those vehicles, especially those fleet vehicles, will sometimes get those lights on them, right, for those vehicles. So that's all we have there. All right, next up is a 25 model year F-150, currently 2,771 unscheduled retail orders in order bank. The order banks are open up for the F-150. They are scheduled this week for the weeks of March 31st through the weeks of April 7th. Like I said, they're going to schedule about half of it or a couple weeks of it, and then they'll schedule the other ones in future weeks. Important information, it says 5.0 liter STX is a retail only order. Dealers can't order it for stock, as well as the Raptor Base 801A is a retail only option too. So if a dealer has some of those allocations for Raptor, they'll call it Raptor Base, that'll be 801 or 802. That has to be a retail order. Or if they want a stock order, they can do that on the 37s. All right. Required orders, or they say required orders, but basically what they're saying is they need some of these orders. So they need some XLs with the 2.7 liter engine. It says without any of the exhausted series equipment that's listed below, which is your tonneau cover, and there's a wheel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Also need some STX 2.7 liters without any exhausted equipment. XLT with the 2.7 as well, just like the others, without the exhausted options below. XLT also with the 3.5 hybrid engine, and then the Lariats with the 3.5 hybrid engine, both of those without any exhausted equipment listed below. Platinum as well, 701 or 702As with a 3.5 hybrid engine without the exhausted availabilities below. Does say in here, if your orders are not being selected for scheduling due to the material equipment as a reason code, so it'll warn dealers of this, please consider adding the tow haul package and the max tow axle to increase the eligibility for those orders to be considered for scheduling. So those would be option XL5, the 355 axle on the 3.5 gas, and option XL7, which is a 373 axle on the 5.0 liter. Very limited exhaust availability for the tonneau cover retractable. So leave that off your order, as well as a 5.0 V8 engine. So take your chances on that one. We've had some of our schedule. They are going to schedule some, but they are having some issues with availability on that. Also, limited availability for the all-terrain tire, the 265/70 R17 black sidewall. That's standard on the 4x4 XL with the 64C wheel, and also that includes included on the XL103A with the 64F wheel. So those tires. And then also the 6-inch extended running board that's included on the bed utility package as well. That's option 18D. So that's some of those issues there. All right. Lastly is the 25 model year Transit. Currently 1,161 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up. They are scheduled for build weeks the week of March 10th through April 7th. They are trying to do, that's in here, cleanup scheduling, but they are needing some low and medium roof van orders and high roof extended van with a 3.5 V6 Cyclone engine. That's engine 998 and rear wheel drive. Also, very limited exhaust availability for the digital rear view mirror. That's option 90C, as well as the 5th row bench seats. So that is also an issue there. So, all right, that's everything we have here. So if you have any questions, if you're watching this tonight, we're going to talk and take any questions you might have on scheduling on our live stream at 7 p.m. Central. So you can come on over and check that out. Usually get into that information around 7:30-ish. So you can check that out, and we can answer your questions live, or drop them down below, and I'll answer them the best I can, as quick as I can, after tonight's live stream. So hopefully we'll get to those starting tomorrow. So drop those down, and we can answer any questions you might have. And don't forget to make sure you subscribe with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of our other videos. And we're having some fun, nice videos on this, and try to keep you updated on all things Ford related right here on this channel. So thanks for watching. Till the next video, stay positive, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.